Welcome to Oddcast, a 4 Nerds by Nerd show. My name's Paige.
CN.
And Joe. So guys, before we get started on our topic for today, why don't you go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button and the little bell for notifications. That way you can keep up with us. Because I don't know if you've watched any of our previous videos, but we tend to go, I don't know, like a mile a minute. Or at least my brain does. Kind of jumps around a lot.
Yeah, just a tap
So
bit.
today, we're going to talk about things that are influencing and impacting our world. We've already declared our allegiance to the PlayStation Empire. No, I'm kidding. But we are PlayStation fans. And of course, as PlayStation fans, we are very well aware that Microsoft has acquired, through purchase, Zenimax Studios.
AKA
And by Zenimax Studios, what the important really thing is Bethesda. Bethesda is their crown jewel that is now in the hands of the Microsoft overlords.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a bunch of other studios involved in there too.
But it doesn't matter.
You're not wrong. I just said it's the crown jewel.
Right, and Paige is right, because technically, anytime you look at any of the articles or reviews, you always see Bethesda. You don't see any of the other companies, just Bethesda.
I mean,
I'm not saying that those other companies are not valuable. That is not what I'm saying.
Neither
I'm
am
just
I.
saying that Bethesda will impact the most people at once.
Me.
Because you have Elder Scrolls and you have Fallout.
Me. It's going to impact me.
yeah. Also, they now technically own one of the exclusives coming to PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Which is what?
Deathloop.
Deathloop.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was acquired in the ZeniMax purchase. So they have already announced that they are going to honor any exclusivity contracts that already exist. However, all exclusivity is going to be done on a case-by-case basis moving forward. So there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, like, does that mean that ZeniMax is going to make it so that Fallout, or not ZeniMax, but is Microsoft going to make it to where Fallout is an Xbox exclusive, or the next Elder Scrolls, is that going to be an exclusive? And the answer that I have is I don't think it will. I don't think
it's going to make too much of a difference. I mean, I think it's just going to be... I think the transfer of power, I think it's just going to make it to where Xbox just has what they want if they need to do something out of the box to kind of try to beat
It's totally possible that they could, though. I think there are too many things left unsaid that we don't know about. Like, we also don't know how well either system is going to do. I mean, you can forecast all you want, but you won't know until it happens. Like when the fucking Xbox One came out, everybody thought that it was going to beat the PS4, and oh, buddy, let me tell you, it did not.
And the Microsoft story doesn't actually end with just the ZeniMax purchase. It's still a developing thing. So there are a couple of other nuances with Microsoft, because, you know, if we're going to support one, and we're gamers at heart, so, I mean, even if it were an Xbox exclusive, like...
I can do it on the PC, it's fine. They're releasing everything on the PC.
I'll still play Fallout on a PC, maybe at some point.
I play Fallout on PC.
And now there's a chance for New Vegas 2, because the team that did the Outer Worlds, their studio is the one who did the original New Vegas, and now they are under the same roof as Fallout, and instead of being bitter about it, they're like, welcome to the fold! And the other things that are happening in that same kind of vein for Microsoft are... well, actually, I guess I want to talk real quick about Sony's possible response. So Sony's potential response could be that they go the MAD route, which, for those of you who are not in the know of nuclear warfare, that is mutually assured destruction. So, of course, Microsoft and Sony are in the business of making games, and Sony has quietly amassed their own in-house studio productions, which we're all very familiar with. But there's always the potential that they could expand that further. Now, there are already rumors that PlayStation has been eyeballing Konami, and Sony does have $33 billion that they can play with. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a drop in the bucket for Microsoft, who has $137 billion that they can just play around with for Xbox, mostly because they're one of the first companies in the world to cross $1 trillion. It makes them a pretty substantial threat, but Sony has held their own. And I guess maybe that's why we're such big Sony supporters, is Sony kind of always comes across as the underdog.
I mean,
I disagree with that. I think part of the reason why Microsoft has what they do is because of their PC, like their software. Like fucking Windows. That's why they have so much money. That's why they have so much expendable stuff, and because they can do everything on the other side too, on the PC.
She has a point.
All their games.
I completely agree with you. So I just wanted to roll out some hard facts real quick. So if you were Sony and you were going to do the mutually assured destruction, which is just your way of saying you're going to acquire other studios that potentially have big ticket items, so that you could be like, you know what, you're not going to go exclusive with that, because if you do, then I'm going to go exclusive with this. Now, the $250 million investment that Sony made into Epic Games is a pretty good indicator of some stuff, but Tencent Entertainment...
That could happen.
Yeah, well, but Tencent Entertainment is the big conglomerate that owns Epic Games and all that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get back to them in a second, but other studios out there that Sony, with its $33 billion, could purchase and potentially acquire a bunch of material. Konami is at the top of that list because, like I said, already rumors. Konami has the price tag of $3.2 billion. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's half the 7.5, but with that you get Prince of Persia, you get
Metal Gear Solid.
No, sorry, that's Konami. Konami, you get Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, Castlevania.
Castlevania.
Oh yeah.
You get the big three, and I mean,
Yeah.
I'm totally down for a Castlevania that's done in the style of
Final Fantasy.
of Demon Souls or of God of War.
Okay, no. God of War, please.
The formula almost fits it. And I'm not saying they should all be that. I'm just saying that they could do it. Now, another studio is Ubisoft. That's what I was thinking when I was saying the other ones. Ubisoft is $3.6 billion. Again, a hefty one, but it would bring you some titles. Bandai at 4.7. Even Sega is 4.9 billion. But with Sega,
I didn't think they were that high.
yeah, well, but with Sega, you're kind of only getting Sonic. Like,
Well, isn't Sega rumored to be creating their own console?
Yes.
Like, I've heard that rumor floating around for a year or so now.
I think it's a rumor, but I don't think it's going to happen because I'm gonna circle back around.
COVID would have.
Well, really quick though, I think Sega is coming out because they hinted at it with Sega Dream, like 2-3 years ago.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. So 2K, I just wanted to go through this list of other ones that could be bought, including there are two big ones that I think are really the indicators that if Sony were going to make a move, this is what they would do. This is not one of them, but 2K Studios is one of them, or 2K Interactive, which of course would bring them Borderlands and all those guys. Good, solid choice. It's $3.2 billion. Again, these are all lesser priced ones. And I'm not talking about big things like Nintendo. That's not going to happen. Even though Nintendo has a net worth that is less than Sony's,
They would never sell.
Yeah.
I don't see Nintendo selling. If anything, once this new war starts, I could see Nintendo buying Sega and taking all of their stuff. Because
They've
not
worked
only,
well together,
I think
so.
that Nintendo could take it
I
and
don't
run
think
with it.
I don't like that they bought Zenimax. I don't like when big companies buy big companies. Like, no, everyone free market fuckers. Like, let them do their own shit. Like, it really bothers me.
Yeah, and I agree with that. So then you bring in the two big players, and these are the two big ones that if Sony was going to make a power move, this is what they would do. And I know that you've got that look on your face right now of who the fuck could Sony buy that would be a big deal? Well, one of them would be Activision Blizzard. Now, don't get me wrong.
Oh.
That would not be an easy purchase because Activision Blizzard, their net worth, and I tried to research it, but it's hard to find this exact information, is somewhere between $19.8 and $29.2 billion, which means that it would consume the war chest, but you would gain StarCraft, Warcraft.
They would never do that.
And then
all those things you're listing, they would never do.
And then the other big one, and this is the one.
This is a huge one.
Yeah, this is the big one. Is EA. Now, Electronic Arts has a net worth value.
I mean, I would want that, but no. Sony might be able to make them better. Damn it, EA.
So somewhere between 8.5 billion and 23 billion. Now, that would be a huge acquisition. Of course, that means that then they would be able to loom Star Wars over Microsoft until the deal was up with Disney's exclusivity rights of Star Wars to EA for their 10-year contract. What has actually been signaled, though, is this. The next generation's console war is already being fought. We just don't see it. So this brings me to the big one, the big crux of this argument. It's not just Microsoft getting Zenimax. It is Microsoft's Game Pass. Now, the Game Pass is a subscription service through Xbox where you pay $20 a month, but you gain access to everything.
Yeah,
New
so
game.
basically, doesn't matter if it's a new game.
Even games that just came out?
Yes. Yeah. New games, old games. If you're paying for that pass, you gain access to all of it.
And that, so what we're looking at is the transition from Blockbuster to Netflix. But it's not. But then
how do you judge game sales? How do you judge how well a game does?
It would all be based on subscriptions. It's the same way that you're essentially moving the model. The business model has been how many consoles have you sold, how many games have you sold. With Sony doing its expedition into PC gaming with games like Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn, you can kind of see that they're already thinking this is going to be the format. It's not just switching a console to being digital. It is moving your market, and that is what I think is happening, and it's that rapid evolution that's going to change drastically. However, the Game Pass is not just a threat to Sony. It's actually a response to Stadia, which has been a joke, because Stadia is a streaming service for games, which is essentially now what Microsoft is saying, we see what you tried to do, and we're going to do it, but we're going to do it better. And we're going to move the end goal to a new position and force our opponents onto the same market. Now, maybe Sony is already aware of that. Epic Games has its own game store. They did do the $250 million investment to partner with them kind of on, the Unreal Engine. What if it was more than that? What if there's like a deep-seated thing there that they're planning for that move to making consoles more like PCs, which we've seen now is already happening in this generation, moving people onto a digital market, which again we're seeing in this generation with the PlayStation Plus collection, with the Game Pass. You're gearing your market up so that the market can move, which means that we're going to see the content wars now explode into consoles. Other engines that are threatened by this, of course, are Steam, because all those things that were available on Steam, Fallout, the Elder Scrolls, all the things that ZeniMax had that were on the Steam store are now going to move to the Microsoft store and to the Game Pass. I feel like I've deflated this whole thing. I'm sorry, guys. I wasn't trying to deflate.
No, you took like half my points again. Fine.
It's just.
It's true. It is where it's going all digital, and I have no problem with that. It's the creativity behind it. Like when you have everything over the same umbrella, like they all leak into each other, which is why it's better to have separate companies who are run by separate people with separate sets of ideas, because then things get stale. Honestly, EA is a perfect example of that staleness. They were run by an evil overlord, so to speak, who just let it all become nothing but making money. It was all about raking in the money, and they no longer cared about the end product and what the product did for their viewership. And it tainted the whole studio. And when you combine studios like that, it causes that to happen, and I don't want that. Sony's
approach has been you let the studios do what they're doing and you put out quality over quantity.
That's not been Microsoft's, which is scary. Because like when they took Bungie, when they got the Halo from Bungie, when Bungie no longer wanted to do it anymore, Halo started to suck, in my opinion.
But their new approach has been, because they are now tracking with Sony, they're trying to put out quality, which is why they've purchased all of these studios. I mean, only time's going to tell what they're actually going to do with them. Are they going to be able to turn around? Can they make it better? I mean, it's a fascinating time to be in.
Well, it's just we're starting to see similarities to what Disney did when they started taking over big companies, Fox, Marvel,
Star Wars.
And they fucked Star Wars up, so there's that.
There's aspects of what Disney did in Microsoft, and there's aspects of what Sony did that Disney did, which is the right and wrong way of doing things. But the only time will tell only time will tell on what happens after the transition is complete, after all of the previously grandfathered in exclusive games has been set. We'll see what happens after that point. I mean, but
Yeah, and in all honesty, and this is the last point, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. And the last point is this: so we know that Sony said that their new system isn't going to be backwards compatible with PS1, PS2, and PS3 games.
Where's PS4 though?
With PS4, but what they didn't say is that they're not going to release those games, and by that, I mean this. So they have an extensive game library. They have emulation software, which is really what that patent was.
yeah.
Technically, that means that with PlayStation Plus, the PlayStation Plus collection, you could literally just open the floodgates.
I mean, I'd be super down with it. Make it happen right now. Do it.
PlayStation Now is already a thing that they're playing around with.
Well, PlayStation's always been trickling in some of the older PS1, PS2, PS3 games every once in a blue moon. Like
Only the highlights, though.
Yeah, only the highlights. But they slowly but surely through the PlayStation Network has been trickling in a lot of their classic games, a lot of the popular classic games.
And I think that would continue. I think that it's an interesting topic to discuss. So I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Is this a good move? Is it a bad move? Are you for Game Pass, anti-Game Pass? Do you think that having one overlord, as Paige would say, is an awful thing? Or do you think that maybe having an empirical touch of Midas is not a bad thing? Also, do you believe the conspiracy theories that Microsoft is going to buy Sega? I don't see it happening, but it's a fun conspiracy rabbit hole to go down. I'm still excited. I'm still planning on getting a PS5. I still have no plans on getting an Xbox Series X. But I do plan on getting a better PC. And I don't know what this is going to do to Fallout 76 other than probably nothing. Not that any of you care because you're probably not playing it.
Yeah.
I'm going back to it soon.
I don't think I'm playing.
Yep. So let us know. Now's your opportunity because I'm rambling. So take this opportunity now. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you already haven't. Hit the notification bell and let us know. I think that it's a lot. I think the future is now. I know that I've said that before with the consoles. But
Yeah.
the future is now.
I mean, that's always the case. All right, bye, guys.
Later, guys.